Hello everyone, it is Sasquatch Senpai back here with some gaming news for you. I realized I'm probably going to twice a week schedule, not twice a week schedule around Tuesday and on Friday. That way I can cover everything on the weekend and everything during the week come that Friday. Just a lot easier, keeps everything kind of around the same amount of time. So anyways, thanks for tuning in and let's get down into this. So it seems like the ESRB is looking to our friends in China for inspiration on how to have some ratings control. The ESRB has proposed using facial recognition software to enforce games ratings. This has caused the FTC to reach out to the public for how they feel on this added technology to the industry. The ESRB, digital identity company Yodi, and Epic Games-owned youth digital media company Super Awesome have filed a proposal with the FTC for parental control facial recognition software. The software in question is called Privacy Protective Facial Age Estimation, and it is, quote, a verifiable parental consent mechanism. This takes a computer-aided selfie every time access is requested on the fly. The photos are not stored, but rather uses AI to attempt to authenticate the requesting user, so it isn't similar to how current iPhones use Face ID as a biometric system. In that system, you have a stored photo, and then the AI system, the recognition software, attempts to match your face to the said stored photo. This is completely different. The upload of still images is not accepted, and photos that do not meet the required level of quality to create an age estimate are rejected. These factors minimize the risk of circumvention and of children taking images of unaware adults, the filing states. This also just brings up the issue of the AI just being wrong, with misidentifying the age of the consumer and locking them out of their account, as well as other issues on how AI facial recognition in the past has had issues recognizing or accurately identifying people of color, particularly those who are Black or Asian. ESRB has attempted to get out in front of this issue as well. From them, quote, in the filing, the data suggests that those between ages of 25 and 35, 15 out of 1,000 females versus 7 out of 1,000 males might be incorrectly classified as under 25 and would have the option of verifying using another method. The range of difference by skin tone is between 8 out of 1,000 versus 28 out of 1,000. While bias exists as an inherent in any automated system, this is not material, especially as compared to the benefits and the increase in access to certain groups of parents. The ESRB did state that if this occurs, other authentication methods may be used. One important thing to mention is that this wasn't proposed as a replacement for current parental controls, but rather an additional optional verification method. For this I say I'll pass. I understand that it's a slippery slope argument to state that this is only optional now, but most worst case slippery slopes have started here as an optional addition to security means. Digital game sales are becoming more and more prominent, leading to less and less consumer ownership when, initially digital titles were supposed to be and touted as advertised as being cheaper options to physical, while now they are priced exactly the same. Many other issues here with moving things fully digitally, especially in the world of AI. Now, if nothing is stored, if something happens, if there is a change to your face, if something's irregular, if you have facial scarring, anything like that, and I don't know why it's from 25 to 35. Does this just not work if you're under 25? What's the purpose of this at this point then? Yes, it is optional, but everything always starts off as optional. Moving on to more issues. Ubisoft has stated that it will delete your account if it realizes that it is inactive. Ubisoft has stated that accounts for their service that are inactive for too long will have their owners notified that they then have 30 days to log in or face the account being deleted. This quickly spread to panic, as everything does now in the age of the internet, as people were fearing that their catalog of purchased games from Ubisoft Connect would then disappear if this ever did happen. Once again sparking the debate about digital ownership rights, but that's an argument for an entire another video, and many other people who could do it better than I can as well. After a certain period of inactivity, the account will enter a suspended state and send an email to the user. The user will then have 30 days to respond to the cancel account closure link in the email. The initial recipient who brought this to Twitter after receiving the issue at Ubisoft thought that was an intent initially a scam email at first. Ubisoft did respond to them with, you can avoid the account closure by logging into your account within the 30 days since receiving the email pictured and selecting the cancel account closure link contained in the email. We certainly do not want you to lose access to your games or accounts, so if you have any difficulties logging in, then please create a support case with us. After a weekend of what I feel is due outrage against this development, that they would in fact be deleting accounts, all accounts, with or without purchases, Ubisoft did further respond and kind of backpedal here, stating that accounts with purchased content will not be deleted in this manner. So this will allow those consumers to retain access to those digital titles in their library. And not content with that being outdone by Microsoft and their major merger purchase of Activision Blizzard King, Tencent has stepped up to the plate and they have confirmed their acquisition of Techland. Tencent, the Chinese digital conglomerate, who is the digital right hand of the CCP, has confirmed that they are now the majority shareholder of the developer Techland. Hal Machuca, or Choka, whatever, I slaughtered that. CEO of Techland stated that teaming up with Tencent will allow us to move full speed ahead with the execution for the vision of our games. He also confirmed that Techland would retain IP ownership of its titles, such as Dying Light and Dead Rising, as well as their previously teased fantasy title, which we do only have one artwork piece of. This acquisition will only help Tencent retain the title of the largest video game publisher in the world, where its market capital is currently sitting at around $472 billion, leading the way in that video game industry. Tencent did also recently make the news over the last year for purchasing a minor share in From Software, as well as Epic Games, but nothing more of those two large developers and publishers, but just minor stakes here, while they are a major shareholder and the majority shareholder here with Techland. Allegedly, this will have no impact on how Techland is operating and the developmental process, but that is yet to be seen. That was also how it used to work for Embracer Group with all of their acquired studios and developers, but that has also taken quite a big nosedive. That and just worries about user data sensitivity, being shipped over to a company who has to, no matter where they're operating, abide by some very, very strict and unfriendly Chinese data laws. Mortal Kombat 1, the next game coming from NetherRealm Studios on September 19th, as 2 months ahead of its release, received information on its first DLC pack, the Kombat pack. So personally, I think this is very early to be teasing DLC characters. Something that particularly has a strong impact on the gameplay function of the game. I mean, at least wait until the game is launched before saying, hey, we're already working on how to get extra money from you. That's also an argument for another video. Teased in this first combat pack will be Quan Chi, Ermac, and Takeda Takahashi. They have been announced to return to the series as part of this pack. However, it is a 6-fighter pack, and the last 3 is where it gets interesting. Omni-Man from the comic series and Amazon Prime animated series Invincible will be appearing. Peacemaker from DC Comics and the HBO show will also be appearing, and Homelander from the Boys comic series and the Amazon Prime show will make an appearance as well. Peacemaker and Homelander are retaining the likeness of their show's respected actors, so there you go. We will be recognizing them fully. They've also revealed that the premium edition will come with, of course, bonuses, which are full-on extra content within the game outside of just one being a cosmetic appearance. A Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage. That is the cosmetic appearance. The rest are quite game-changing for that extra money. 5 new cameo characters, unavailable otherwise. So the extra fighters you have come in to help extend your combos or break up combos in different unique ways. 5 of them are unique to the premium edition. Fantastic. The combat pack that was just announced with these 6 characters are also included. 1 week early access to the game. That's what it is. That's not anything outside of experience, perhaps, but any casual person getting into a fighting game is still not going to beat someone who has a week access later on who knows what they're doing in a fighting game. 1 week early access to the DLC fighters. So before the fighters are released, people who have purchased the premium pack will have 7 days early access to these fighters. That is ridiculous. This is Man, it's awful. The exclusive cameo characters are one issue on their own. The extra week access to DLC characters, if you paid for the DLC, but you don't have the premium edition further down the road, they're just not available to you for an extra week. That's absolutely preposterous. Cosmetics, I understand. Who really cares? There should have just been a ton of cosmetics in here, but DLC characters, characters unavailable otherwise, that's just really going too far out of line. Companies are definitely getting more brazen with what they can charge extra for that's already included in the game. Like those cameo fighters. Those are already included in the game. They're on that disc. You just won't have access to them. Square Enix is also continuing to update the maligned game Forspoken, and this latest update removes Denuvo DRM from the game. So that hated DRM service for PC players, Denuvo, is being removed from Forspoken 6 months after its launch. This DRM service in particular is much hated amongst PC gamers, as it has been proven time and time again across various titles to negatively affect the game's performance on the platform. In direct comparisons from outlets such as Digital Foundry, where running a pirated copy side by side with a Denuvo protected copy, that pirated game that's lacking Denuvo performs better in aspects that really shouldn't happen. So if you're looking for a reason to try this game, and you weren't purchasing it for Denuvo, which is honestly a reason why I don't purchase many games anymore, is if they have Denuvo, this will be a great chance to jump in there. It is typically discounted at most times now, since the studio behind it is no more. Square Enix shuttered them. And so this is all coming on the heels of the new owners of the Denuvo DRM software. They're in the process of trying to sway public opinion on how that software affects games, and they are looking to have independent analysts try to prove that Denuvo doesn't affect performance. So, who knows why it's being removed, though? Licensing fees continuing. Perhaps they don't want to pay for those on that game, that they're just trying to get more and more copies out to justify its existence, or it's just their strategy for the first 6 months of a game's release. Just give players an absolutely poor experience and just wait for them to purchase it later on. Rounding off the news here over the weekend, it seems like Remnant 2 has moved well up the Steam's top bestseller charts, and by revenue alone. So this is fantastic news for fans of the first Remnant from the Ashes, that Remnant 2 seems to be a major hit. Now, this also does help that if you pre-ordered the game, if you had the Ultimate Edition, you did get early access to the title by 3 days or so. So with that game's full launch here coming up, people did buy into the full game with that Ultimate Edition to get that early access to that. Now, someone like myself who absolutely loved the first game, I already had that pre-ordered. I was already ready to go. I didn't even know there was early access. It just popped up for me that I was able to play it, so I jumped right in. That's what I've been playing. Other people, they must have seen impression videos or reviews of it, because once that embargo dropped, reviews have begun coming out, and for the most part, they are very, very good. You have some people at some places reviewing the game who don't even like Souls-like games to begin with, and they're the ones reviewing Remnant, which is a Souls-like, so there you go. You have that. It's sitting at a very good 80 rating on Metacritic, which is fantastic. Gunfire Games is a smaller developer, and it is also sitting at just a $50 title. It is $49.99. It's $20 less than your typical AAA game. It does sit relatively well in that 2A gaming space. It's a very good follow-up to Remnant from the Ashes. I absolutely love the game. It's fantastic. I think I like it more than Elden Ring. I loved Elden Ring. But anyways, Remnant 2 is not only sitting at the top of the top sellers charts for the United States, I also checked, it is also sitting at that same top seller position globally as well. So that is fantastic news for Gunfire Games. I hope they revel in that incoming money, and I hope they get to work on some new content for us. The first one had a couple DLC packs. One was okay, accepted. Pretty mediocre. The final DLC was well accepted, so hopefully we get more tile sets and everything to go through for adventure mode and some new stories, because the game is phenomenal. Go get it. It is fantastic. You'll have a blast. And that will be it for the news over the weekend and Monday coming into today. Like I said, I've been playing Remnant pretty much non-stop. I've taken a couple breaks here or there to play Diablo with my wife. Going through the season of Malignant, that's fun. It's always a blast to play games with her, and she particularly likes the Diablo series as well. I like ARPGs, so it's a good mix for us to play. But Remnant 2 is just phenomenal. The gameplay is tight, the visuals are fantastic, the story is serviceable. The overarching story is serviceable, but the individual stories you get for the worlds and the characters in those worlds is fantastic. Everything is voiced. The gameplay is just so good. The replayability is through the roof with how they have it procedurally generated from handcrafted tiles, mixes in the stories, NPCs, different lines, different stories that they participate in. It's great. Still working on the review. I've gone through the campaign 2.5 times. I'm working on a bunch of adventure mode stuff, playing from veteran all the way up to apocalypse, so it's a great time. So just be on the lookout for that review coming up sometime soon. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the news that I produced for you today. So if you want to see more content, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. You have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week, and I'll see you the next time I post.